Hello, my name is Sonia and this is video number 5 in my series called The Basics of Crochet, and today we're going to learn how to make a single crochet. The previous video we learned how to make a slip knot and a chain, and now we're going to learn how to work in the chain. And the first stitch that we're going to learn is the single crochet, and I have a card right here with the abbreviation for single crochet. So it says SC, which stands for single crochet. So if you were reading a pattern and you saw SC, you would know that that stands for single crochet. And again, all of the terms and abbreviations that I use in my videos are US terms. So I already made a little swatch of a single crochet stitch of a couple rows, and this is what single crochet stitch looks like. It's a shorter stitch, and we're going to learn how to make that today. So to get started, I am using a size H hook or a number 8 or 5mm. Again, if you don't have an H hook, you can certainly use a G hook, which is either 4mm or 4.25mm, or an I hook, which is a 5.5mm. Any one of those hooks would be a great choice to start with. And we are using worsted weight yarn in a light color so we can easily see our stitches. So today we're going to make 5 rows of single crochet and with 10 stitches across. So to get started, we need to make our slip knot. So I'm making my slip knot here, and we are going to work a row of 11 chains. So you might think, okay, we're making 10 single crochet, why are we making 11? And I'll show you that in a minute. So let's get started. We're going to make our 11 chains. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So as you can see, counting is very important in crochet. We do a lot of counting, so it is important, again, to know how to count your chains, know what each individual chain looks like. So again, you can see looks like a V on its side, and you know, we can go across and count them real quick. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we have the right amount. Okay, so to get started with making our single crochet, we're not going to work in the first chain right here. We're going to skip him. We are going to work in the second chain, which is right here. And I usually like to use my thumb as like a little marker to know that I'm working in this chain. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I do. I don't even realize it. It's just out of habit. So what we're going to do is insert our hook in the middle of that V, just like so. Let's maybe get a little bit closer here. Okay, so now we have 1, and it looks like 3 loops on our hook. That's our chain right here. So 1, 2, 3. Now there are other ways to work in the chain, but this is generally the traditional way, the basic way. It's a great way to learn for beginners, so we're doing it this way. So now we have our loops on our hook, and we need to work these loops off. So to do that, here's our working yarn. We're going to do a yarn over. So just like that. So we wrap it around the front to the back. And this yarn is going to catch under our hook, and we're going to pull these 2 guys over. And again, if you need to use your fingers to guide it over, that's quite all right. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. So we're going to do a yarn over again, just like so. And we're going to pull both of those loops off of our hook. And we have made 1 single crochet. So you're going to do the same thing in the very next stitch. You're going to insert your hook like right in the middle of that V, like so. So it looks like we have 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do our yarn over, front to the back, and that's going to catch under there. We're going to pull these 2 guys off, Now we have 2 loops on our hook. Do another yarn over. We're going to pull both of those loops off. So this guy's going to catch under there, and we're going to pull it through just like that. Now we've made 2. We're going to keep going across, and it might take a little bit of practice, a little bit of time to get it down, especially when you're starting. You can feel like you're all thumbs and things are just flying all over the place, but in time you'll get it. So don't get discouraged, and if it is getting frustrating, I recommend, you know, taking a break, taking a breather, and then getting back to it. Because I know for myself, if I just keep pushing and pushing and it's not working, then I just want to give up altogether. So sometimes you just need a little break. So we are going across our chain here, and then I will show you how to count them to know that we have enough single crochet, because we want to have 10. So again, we're going to count them. You're going to get tired of counting, I'm sure, or hearing me count, but it's really important to know how to read your work, know how to count your stitches, so when you are working patterns, you know, you'll know what to do. Whoops. You want to keep your hook in the loop. Because if you don't know how to read your work, it's just going to become very frustrating for you. You're going to not be able to finish your project. So we've made our first row of single crochet. So sometimes you might have a little bit of a gap here. You can close that up by gently pulling it just like that, and then it looks nice and neat. I'm a stickler for neat work, so I like my stitches to look neat and tidy. So we have our first row of single crochet. So if we turn it slightly on our side, you can see it looks like a chain, like a little row of V's. So you can count them that way, or you can count them this way, and we are going to count to see if we have 10 stitches. So this would be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, whoops, let's not throw it around, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. So we do have 10, so we're on the right track, and we're going to start with row 2. Now a lot of times in crochet patterns, they will have a right side and a wrong side. Sometimes patterns, it doesn't matter, you know, it's reversible, but just for clarity, it just makes it easier to know what is your right side, what is your wrong side. So for today, we're going to say that row 1 that we just worked is our right side. So now we're going to do row 2, which is similar to row 1, but before we can start, we need to chain 1. So make sure you have your working yarn. See, I accidentally grabbed my short piece. You don't want to do that. So you're going to do a yarn over, just like you would make a starting chain, and chain 1. So there's chain 1. Now to get to row 2, you need to turn your work, and that's very simple. Just flip it over. So you can see, here's our row 1, our right side. Now we need to go to row 2. We flipped over our work. So to get started with row 2, we're going to work in our very first stitch for row 2. So to know where to put your hook, you can turn it slightly. You can see here's our chain 1 that we made, and we're going to work in here. You're going to go right underneath where it looks like a chain. So then there's a little hole that's going to go right underneath. So it looks like you have 1, and it looks like you have a chain like your V on your hook. So 1, 2, 3 loops. And we're going to do the same thing as the first row. You're going to do a yarn over. Guy's going to catch under there. Pull those 2 guys off. You have 2 loops left. Yarn over. Pull through. Now we've made our first stitch for row 2. We're going to keep going. So yarn over, yarn over. So there's number 2. Just keep going across. So this is row 2. Row 2 is the wrong side of our work for today. Some patterns might say row 2 is your right side. It's not. Or they'll say all odd rows are right side, all even rows are wrong side. So just something that you want to pay attention to. Or some patterns don't have any wrong or right side. I always try to have it in my patterns. I think it just makes it easier for a little bit of clarity. So we are going across, working single crochet, 10 stitches, and we're going to work 5 rows. You see I've already started my yarn over, it's just out of habit. And as you get more practice, your speed will come, and you'll even be able to kind of just know by feel of where you need to put your hook. Okay, so now we've completed row 2, and again you can turn it on its side. It looks like a row of chains. You can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10. Now we're ready to go to row 3. Row 3 is just like row 2. Chain 1, flip it over, insert your hook in there, yarn over, pull through those 2, yarn over, pull through. So your first single crochet, or now your second for row 3. And you might notice as you're starting, some of your stitches might be bigger, some of them might be smaller. It might look a little all over the place, and again, that just comes with practice. I know when I first started out, it kind of looked like a hot mess, but at least I knew how to make the stitches. So this is getting you familiar with manipulating the yarn, the hook, going through the motions, and then as you get more practice, things will start looking a little bit prettier and nicer. So don't beat yourself up if you're looking at your work and like, wow, that really looks like a mess. That's okay. You'll just get better from there. It's just learning how to watch your tension and things like that. Alrighty, so now we've completed row 3, which is our right side, and we're going to go to row 4. So we chain 1, turn, flip our work, insert our hook, yarn over, and again you'll find your style of how you like to hold the yarn, the working yarn in your other hand. I kind of use my finger to kind of flick it, and I hold it. That's just the way I do. I mean, some people, they like to wrap it around their finger. It's completely up to you. You'll figure it out and find how it feels comfortable. There really is no right or wrong way of how to hold the yarn. Some people might like to tell you there is, and there isn't. Just everyone's unique and an individual, so what might work really well for someone else might not work so well for you. Alright, so we are almost done. Row 4. So that's row 4, and then we'll work row 5, and then we'll count our rows and we'll count our stitches to see if we have the right amount. So I chained 1, I flipped my work, so now I'm working row 5, which is our right side. Just like so. We're just going right across, about halfway. And you will have completed your first swatch in single crochet, and if you want to get more practice, you can certainly make as many rows as you would like. I mean, it's nice to have a swatch of the different stitches, especially when you're starting out, just as a little reference too. So if you are reading a pattern and be like, what does a single crochet look like again? You can pull out your swatch, could even label it and be like, oh, that's right, it's the shorter stitch. Okay, so now we've completed 5 rows of single crochet. So we are going to count them. So this would be row 1, and this is and we're on our right side. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. And we're going to count our stitches across. So a lot of times in crochet you're going to count your rows and you're going to count your stitches. So again, it is a lot of counting. And I'm not a math person, but I can handle it, so I'm sure you can too. So we are going to count to see if we have 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And And I'll show you how to finish it off. So if a pattern will say cut your yarn or finish it off, all that means is you snip it. I like to take my hook and just draw it through like so, and oops, throwing it all around. Don't do that. And we have completed our first swatch of single crochet. Thank you so much for watching.